Hey, what's that smell?
It's getting cold, so I turned on the furnace.
Oh, that's what I'm smelling.
You know, that reminds me, you probably should get a tune-up to make sure it's ready for the season.
I'll make a call.
All right.
Meet PJ Kalb. He's a heating expert and performs thousands of maintenance checks on heating equipment each year. A tune-up helps keep your furnace in tip-top shape. Okay, PJ, so Pete turned the furnace on and there was this nasty smell coming out, and that's why we called you for the tune-up. Can you explain what that is?
What that most likely was is over the summer months, you'll get dirt and some lint and some things that build up on the heat exchanger. When this appliance is first turned on in the fall, that has to burn off. And usually that's what it is. It's just a kind of a burnt dust smell.
Yes, exactly. And it's safe, right? When that
Absolutely.
happens. Okay. Why is it important to have your furnace tuned up?
It's really important to have this tuned up. I compare it to your automobile. If you don't maintain and take care of it, it's not going to last as long as it should. And it's the same with this type of an appliance. If it's not maintained and taken care of, it's not going to last as long as it should, and it's not going to run as efficiently as it should. There's a lot of moving parts to a furnace. I brought some of them with me just to show you some of the things that we would do when we come to do an inspection. This happens to be an igniter on a furnace. This tip here turns bright orange, and that's what lights your appliance. And that comes on every time your furnace comes on. This actually heats up and is what starts your furnace. So this is real important, and is also a part that fails quite often too. So when we come out to do an inspection, we can take some tests on this and visually look at this and tell the life expectancy of it and whether it's working properly. If it's not, that's what we call preventive maintenance. We can change things that we know are going to be going out maybe in a month or two and make that work more efficiently.
It looks like it's detachable, so it's not like you'd have to replace your whole furnace if something like this went wrong. It's something that you could just modify there on the spot.
Correct, and replace the part. And
efficiently.
this is something our service technicians carry frequently. There's also flame sensors in your furnace. This steel rod here actually heats up. When that furnace lights, it has to get this rod so hot within less than 2 seconds. And with a lot of furnaces that are in a laundry room, in a basement, in a utility room, they'll get a lot of contaminants that'll come into that furnace, and they'll collect on this rod and kind of coat that, insulate it a little bit, and cause that to have nuisance failures, and it'll be on and off and do some things like that. So we can inspect that, clean that, also test that. It's porcelain, so if that's cracked or things like that, we can visually look at that and know whether we need to change that. I brought a couple other things with me too. This is a burner out of a furnace, and on a lot of heat exchangers, over time they'll end up rusting, and that rust will break down and fall on top of the burners. And this happens to be a ribbon type burner, and when that builds up on top of this, it'll cause incomplete burn, which can cause the furnace to soot. It can cause the gas to spill out the front and cause damage to the wiring and stuff. So it's real important to have that maintained and have this cleaned. These burners are designed where we can take them out, and we can take them outside and blow them out with a compressor and make sure we get all the dust and contaminants out of those.
You know, PJ, on PowerHouse, we always promote people changing their furnace filters, or at least checking them monthly. And can you explain to us why that's so important?
Well, I brought this with me, and this happens to be a cell out of a furnace. A furnace has 3, 4, 5 cells depending on the size of the furnace. And what this is the burner goes in this port down here. Your gases come through this, it heats this up, that's what heats your house. And when that furnace filter is not maintained, that kind of creates a blanket which blocks that and doesn't allow that air to come through when that blower is trying to pull air across this heat exchanger, which causes this heat exchanger to get hotter and hotter. And after so many times of that happening, it'll end up cracking. And that's what we talk about when we talk about a cracked heat exchanger. And what happens with these cracks is when that gets hot, they actually open up, which allows the carbon monoxide and gases to escape into the ductwork which goes through your house, which is an unsafe condition. It's really important to maintain the filter on that furnace as a homeowner. That's the one thing that we really stress, is that they change that filter monthly. If it's a decent pleated filter, they might be able to go every 2 months, but I tell people to just have a marker down by the furnace and put a date on it. Then you know when you changed it.
So a lot of these things that you're checking for are not simply for comfort. They really are for safety.
Correct.
So what else do you do in your inspection?
One of the big things we do is we shut the blower off and disconnect the blower. And that way when we run the furnace, we can allow that furnace to overheat. And we can check a lot of flame rollouts, limit switches, different components inside that furnace that are designed for safety, that we can make sure that they're operating the way they're supposed to be.
It sounds like you accomplish an awful lot in this time. How long does it take?
It takes around 45 minutes to an hour to do an inspection.
And people should do it annually, did you say?
We recommend that you have it done yearly, yes.
Okay.
It's nice to have that peace of mind, having that checked at your convenience, as opposed to it breaking down at 2 o'clock in the morning or when you're out of town or something like that. For the $80 or $90 that it costs to have this maintenance done to it, you can pay that off within a heating season.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, PJ.
Thank you.
Okay. When you turn on your furnace for the first time each season, it's always a good idea to double check your carbon monoxide detectors and replace the batteries. Just touch the test button on the detector. Okay, and make sure it's working properly. If you don't have a CO detector, make sure you buy one and place them in your home by the sleeping and living areas. CO detectors range in price and style, but you can find basic detectors for as low as $25. Let's plug it in.